Pokemon Black and White 2 added a lot of new areas to the Unova region. You have areas in the early game, which was changed for you to start in a completely new city, that being Aspertia City. You have middle game areas like Reversal Mountain that wasn't in the original games, and the final city being Humalao City where the new final gym leader is. This made the sequels feel very different than the originals, and it doesn't make me say, oh, I'm never playing the originals again, because while they are very similar, they do feel very different, and I like that. Anyways, I had an idea to do a hardcore Nuzlocke using only Pokemon I find in these newly added locations. This could be old Pokemon like Patrats and Purloins you find in Route 22, or this could be the newly added Pokemon as well, like Meryl or Mareep in Flossie Ranch. This should make for a pretty unique team as we have about 14 encounters or so to choose from. I won't be using starters just so I can use some more unique encounters, and if you do enjoy the video, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe as I'll greatly appreciate it. So like I said, we start off in Aspertia City, and this is the first time in a Pokemon game where we actually reside in a city with a Pokemon Center. I did pick Tepig for no other reason than to bully him with this nickname. If I ever get hungry throughout my journey, let's hope I don't. We can immediately leave Aspertia, and the city does have water for an encounter later down the line, but I actually never ended up coming back. Regardless, on what is essentially Route 1 for this new Unova, we found ourselves a Patrat, and I was thinking of resetting to get a Purloin, but I mean, how many times are you going to be using a Patrat in a run? I named her Angela, and hopefully soon you guys will guess the nickname theme. With our newly acquired Pokemon, we run into the former champion, and honestly, Alder's probably one of the coolest champions to exist in my opinion. I just like his style. Now basically the entire beginning of the video is going to be catching new encounters since the sequels start us off on the left side of the map, which are all new locations. On Route 20 I found a Suwaddle who I named Mike. Before taking on our rival who I named Best Ever since he's an amazing rival, I encountered a Zuro and I was going to reset until I got a first try Riolu, but it's a 5% chance to get, so that could have taken me a long time. Good thing I didn't do that though, because Meryl actually had huge power as its ability and she was named Nancy. That name just fits her. Our first battle with Hugh was kind of scary because he crit us as we left him super weak. The reason I switched into Mike though is because Angela had a speed tie with the Oshawott, so we could have lost her right off the bat. For some reason he likes to use Tail Whip every time I fight him though, giving us the free win. You actually don't fight Hugh that often in this game, and you'd think that would make him a bad rival, but the way his character talks to Team Plasma Grunts just completely makes up for that. Alder, how have you not broken a leg doing that? I once fell off a tree from what looks like about that height, and it hurt. A lot. The good thing about Zuro is it evolves by friendship, so by running around a bit, I can actually evolve it right before the first gym. Speaking of the first gym, it is up, and I'm honestly not too scared. Charon leads his own Angela, and the good thing about Patrat early on is Tackle gets stabbed, meaning this was a nice 2-hit KO, taking no damage for Lillipup. And we did trade hits when it came out, but I ended up winning thanks to having an Oranberry, and well, he didn't crit. Never too hard of a gym. Like, just look at the script. What was that weak answer? This guy has no chill, and I'm here for it. Our next encounter is in Verbank Complex, and it was actually an Elekid, which I'm not mad about at all. It is a little hard to use right now since it's basically a baby, but we should be fine. I named him Hopper. As with Aspertia City, Verbank's encounter is in water, and I actually do end up coming back here later. On top of a Zero evolving immediately, so does Meryl at level 18 into a Zoomerl, which is pretty good for this point in the game. I gotta say, another upside to using Patrat is that you can teach it Return and get a pretty powerful stab move right off the bat. So for Roxy, I let our newly evolved Nancy, and a Bubble Beam didn't quite do half, so I worked up and a second one cleaned coughing right up. Whirlipede also happened to be a 2-shot as well, so yeah. Sorry, Rox. Well, with that, we can take a ship to this concrete jungle where dreams are made of. And I feel like in regular Black and White, the journey to get here is a lot longer, but nonetheless, we can get a couple of encounters in the city. Now, if we go into Castelia sewers during the summer, the water is raised and we can come across Castelia Park. While the name doesn't actually pop up on screen as a location change, I did think it still counted as a new area. I ended up catching a Petalil named Robin, but in the end, it didn't really matter since I never used her. Back in the sewers, I came across a Zubat named Joyce, and in the Relic Passage, we encountered a Roggenrola, which was the encounter I wanted next to Timber. I named him Steve and got out of the disgusting sewers. Right after this, I evolved Mike into Swadloon, and Angela into a Watchog. Oh, and Joyce into a Golbat. Okay, one more, I promise. With our new and improved team, I took on Berg, and I led Joyce obviously since one single wing attack was able to KO Swadloon fairly easy, and for Dwebble I swapped into Nancy, whose Aqua Tail brings him all the way down to his Sturdy. Twice. For Leavanny, I did switch back into Joyce since it as well can't live a quad effective wing attack. Man, these gym fights have been super easy. Now what wasn't easy was the Chorus fight right after this. I led Elekid, and I know how low kick works, but I went for it anyways. On top of that, I got paralyzed and Sandstorm was up. I did manage to get him low, but he has a potion which is no bueno, and I did switch into Mike to start Razor Leafing. I even missed a Razor Leaf and got paralyzed to make matters worse, but I did risk it, lived, and left him super weak in the red. From here I just switched into Angela, who could finish it off with a crunch, which I completely forgot still was resisted in this gen. Clink wasn't too hard since it just used charge and return was doing decent damage. So this route was pretty cool because based on which version of the game you have, the route will look different. But there's one thing I want to point out about this route. So in White 2 we can actually get a Light Clay, which gives us 8 turns of Reflect and Light Screen instead of 5. But in Black 2 they give you a Wide Lens, which is a significantly worse item than the Light Clay. Don't get me wrong, I love Wide Lens, but in terms of functionality, Light Clay is way better. And on top of that, Wide Lens in White 2 is found on Wild Yanmo, which are post-game, while in Black 2 you can actually still get a Light Clay before the Elite 4 off Wild Golurk. Like, how does that make any sense? By the way, I like the touch of detail here. If you play as a boy, this is a girl, but if you play as a girl, this is a boy. Pretty cool. Alright, enough rambling. We evolve Steve here into a Boldor, and right at the level cap we can evolve Elekid into an Electabuzz. Speaking of the level cap, it's time for our next gym fight. Elisa starts off with an Emolga, and I start off with Hopper. I used Light Screen as she pursued us, which did basically nothing. Now I did Thunder Wave, but that was useless since Thunder Punch was a 2-hit KO. We definitely could have lost Hopper to a crit. Anyways, Flaffy is out next, so I go straight into Steve for free, and she did Volt Switch into Zebstrika, which is actually good because we got a nice Rock Slide off doing massive damage. Of course, she does have that Citrus Berry, but this thing can't do anything to us, so another Rock Slide takes it out. Flaffy does try to paralyze us as a pathetic attempt trying to win this fight, and she did almost kill my beautiful Steve, but yeah, we won the fight pretty easily. Worth noting, I guess, that Hopper did have that Light Clay there for Light Screen. You know, I'll never understand why the fossils weren't obtainable before the Elite Four in the sequels. It's really upsetting. Guys, this is a kids game, and violence is always the answer. Just kidding, it's not. Hugh, calm down. Over in Clay's gym, he wasn't too hard to find since, well, the emulator does this to the darkness. But anyways, Clay wasn't hard either, as even with that Intimidate drop, an Aqua Tail obliterates Crocorock. Now he did torment us, which is why I worked up here on Sandslash, and then another Aqua Tail finishes him. Extra Drill did get us to half, but he ended up using Metal Claw for some reason, and yeah, another easy gym badge down. Okay, Juniper, I have done nothing in this game to deserve a Master Ball yet. Aren't I supposed to, save the world? Or at the very least, buy you a Castelia cone? Right before the next gym, Golbat evolved into Crobat, and thanks to the Universal Randomizer, so did Gigalith at level 37. Skyla's Swoobat starts off by attracting us, but Hopper ain't no simp and completely destroys the bat in one shot. I don't know why in the world Swanna would come out next, as it's quad weak to my move, but sure, why not? And Skarmy was a clean 2-hit KO. After this gym, we have 2 new locations added for some encounters. We have Numel, which I named Dustin in Reversal Mountain, and in this strange house which I forgot existed, we found a Solosis who I named Elle because I thought it was fitting. I decided to get rid of Angela because no one likes her, and Dustin could come onto the team, as well as getting rid of Steve and added Elle to the team, who immediately evolved into a Duosian. I also remembered that we had Surf, so I went back to Burbank City to surf for a Frillish. He was named Will. I also immediately evolved him into Jellicent. After all that was done, Hugh fights us, and believe it or not, this is our second fight with him. Wow. Of course, a Thunder Punch and a Volt Switch later, Unpheasant is dead, and I went into Will, but of course, he went into Simisage. Good thing Joyce here is quad resisted, and a single Acrobatics annihilates him. For Samurai, I came in on an Aqua Jet, and I couldn't quite get the KO with Thunder Punch, and he left us at just 9 HP. Good thing we're faster, so after him using a potion, we won. On the route over, I ran into this lady on accident, and this dumb thing with balls for a chin destroyed Mike in one hit. I didn't think anything would happen on this route, so I paused the recording. Nice.
Nice.
Well, it's okay because I was able to add Steve back to the team and evolve both Dustin and Elle into their final evolutions. Okay, how do I not go flying into the wall? I'm not strapped to anything. Drayden, I'm letting you know right now, I'm calling OSHA. Hey man, come on. Maybe try a different gym puzzle? Or even a harness would be nice. You're gonna end up killing someone. So Drayden would actually be tough, but I led Elle to get an 8-turn Reflect Up as well as taking more than half from a crunch. I also taught Nancy Ice Punch from the move tutor over in Driftville if I remember correctly. With that Reflect Up, I got a Work Up off, and thankfully he never used Dragon Tail to switch us out, so one Ice Punch kills Druddigon, another kills Flygon, and Haxorus doesn't live a single Ice Punch either. I don't know why I just remembered now while writing the script, but we were 100% fine anyway since Dragon Tail is -6 priority. Whoops. Yeah, that's probably why he didn't use the move. Alright, this is just ridiculous. I mean, this is just straight up terrorism. Like, no way no one was injured in this city. You know, if my character could look like Hugh does, I think that would be great. No, instead we get guys with hats. Meanwhile, he's looking like he's about to go Super Saiyan. So our next encounter is in Seaside Cave, and I wanted to get a drill burr all the way back in Relic Passage through the Dust Cloud method, but 1, there was a chance to get Onyx, and 2, it's actually guaranteed in these Dust Clouds in Seaside Cave, so I saved it for now. All I did was pop a Max Repel and encounter a Dust Cloud. And there we go. This Pokemon is a complete monster in the region it was introduced in. I completely forgot how good he was for in-game. I named him Vecna and went on to Humalao City for the next gym battle. Now in this city and in the route before it, we can actually get encounters, but for now I was fine, so I didn't even bother. I actually led Will for Marlin since we had Giga Drain on him, and I knew he had Sturdy and Crunch, but come on, a crit! Anyways, Hopper came out to Thunder Punch him to under half and another one into the red. He did use Shell Smash, but this thing is still slow as a turtle. See what I did there? And yeah, he's done for. As for Wailord, he died to 2 Thunder Punches, and Jellicent would have died to 2, but it had a Citrus Berry. It's okay though, as Jellicent clearly sucks. Alright, with Jellicent gone, I went to Route 22 to search in the Double Grass for an encounter. The end game here is kind of like the early game with a whole bunch of new areas added to the sequels. We actually ran into 2 Mienfus, so I just chose my pick and named her Max. Max immediately evolved into a Mienshao, and I adore this Pokemon. Honestly, Gen 5 Pokemon are just iconic. Over in the Plasma Ship, I found an Electrolyzer, and that was used to get my Electivire later. You know, this is what I thought 2022 would be like, you know, flying ships and all, but no, it's nowhere near that. Oh, come on, at least give us a ride back to town, you jerks. Speaking of jerks, we have to fight Chorus, and he starts off with that Magneton as I start off with Hopper. I let Hop to get a light screen off, and he tried to paralyze us, but I do have Motor Drive, so I don't know what he was thinking. From here, I broke his Sturdy with Thunder Punch, and after I went into Steve to get Stealth Rocks up for Magnezone's Sturdy, and then switched into Vecna on a Flash Cannon. Now an Earthquake will take care of Magnezone, that Beheeyem will live on red, but 2 more will kill it after a potion, and here comes Klinkling, which I have to hit with Rock Slide first to break Air Balloon. Then a single Earthquake can obliterate him, and of course Metang stands no chance. Vecna is a G. I love how most evil team leaders have a purpose, like Cyrus wants to create a new world, Maxie wants more land, but no. Ghetsis literally wants to freeze Unova and kill everyone here, for what seems like no reason except that he's a complete psycho. So I led L for Kyurem White since she would be out for Ghetsis when we fight him, but yeah, for Kyurem White, I just went into Nancy to superpower twice for the kill. This way for Ghetsis, L can get up a light screen for free, and I switch into Vecna, of course, Swords Dance to +4 attack, and this dies, this dies, this dies, this dies to a Rock Slide because of Levitate, you as well, and Hydreigon dies to a Rock Slide just like Electros. Don't talk like a human. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were an alien. I mean, you might as well be with that green hair. No offense, N. You look lovely with it. But your dad's a psycho. Alright, it's our final fight with Hugh here, and I led Vecna with a Prism Berry in case Pheasant here used Swagger. But he actually missed, so I Swords Danced a second time, and he didn't use it again. And 1 Rock Slide kills Pheasant, 1 Earthquake killed both Bouffalant and Samurott. And for Simisage, I actually had to switch because it has Brick Break, and it could outspeed, but Joyce's Acrobatics destroyed this Grass Monkey. Alright, the time has come to completely mop the Elite Four. So I actually changed the level cap to level 59 to match Iris's Ace, because that way Elle can get the move Wonder Room. Wonder Room swaps defenses on the field for about 5 turns. You'll see why I did this in a little. Anyways, I Light Screen, got burned, and then used Wonder Room. From there I went into Vecna, who set up 1 Swords Dance, and the reason I used Wonder Room is because we switched defenses, and now an Earthquake is a guaranteed KO. Whereas without Wonder Room, she did have a chance to live. Basically, I thought she would Will-O-Wisp, and then we had a Rossberry to cure it, but she had a chance to live even with a Swords Dance up, and if she burned us, then we would be burned permanently for the rest of the fight. From here, everything on her team died to Earthquake and Rock Slide. I did the same thing for Marshall setting up a Wonder Room. And then I went into Max this time on a Payback. Storm Throw is a guaranteed crit, so I knew we'd live and pop a Citrus Berry after a workup. From there, an Acrobatics can kill Throw, Mienshao, and Conkeldurr. Stock does have Sturdy, so I can't actually kill it in one shot, so I had to switch into L again on a Brick Break. We pop our Citrus Berry and then took a Payback the next turn. A Psychic got him down to Sturdy, and as he healed, we got him back down to Sturdy. Obviously, Sock is faster, so I went into Crobat to finish this battle right up. I decided to fight Grimsley next, and after taking a Fake Out, a single Drain Punch killed Liepard, a High Jump Kick killed Bisharp, even with an Intimidate, Crook doesn't live, and Scrafty is tanky, so I did expect him to live, which he did, but this thing can't do anything to us, so another Drain Punch wins us that fight. I did actually have the Wide Lens on Mienshao there from the Pokemon tournament. The last Elite Four member is Caitlyn, and this was very simple. Musharna has Yawn, and I have a Lumberry, so I Swords Dance for free, and an X-Scissor destroys whatever this thing is, this thing, a Rock Slide for Sigilif, and X-Scissor for Gothitelle. pretty easy. Now normally Iris is super tough, but not this time. I led L to get a light screen off first because of Dragon Pulse and then Reflect. This is Light Clay boosted, by the way. From here I go into Vecna, which works out great since we resist Dragon Pulse, and we can Swords Dance once, thankfully not getting burned by Flamethrower, and one X-Scissor takes out Hydreigon. Druddigon dies to an Earthquake, Aggron doesn't have Sturdy, so one EQ kills him, and Haxorus does outspeed, meaning an Earthquake gets us down to 9 HP, thanks to Reflect still being up. Then we pop a Citrus Berry and get her down to her Sash. Of course she heals and another one can kill her. Lapras is up next and a Rock Slide can take care of that, and at this point I do just have to sack Vecna, which is actually fitting if you watch the show, but then we can go into Nancy and a single Waterfall is enough to wrap this run right up. That was a really interesting team to use. Excadrill is literally a demon when it comes to this game. He mowed so many Pokemon down. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this challenge, and if you did, go ahead and leave some love down below, and I will see you all next time. I love you guys.